Could you tell me a little bit about the actual trip to Ireland?
Okay, the actual trip, it was like my first time going into airplane.
Really?
Yeah, it was my very first time going into airplane. It was coming to here, so I don't even know how the process in airports, how it goes. So they just, I had a call. They said, look, your flight is at that day. You go, you get your passport, all the papers, and then you come to the airport 4 hours before the time of the airplane. I said, all right, that's fine. Went to the airport. I had a funny story during the coming year because I said it's my first time traveling very far, that far. So I went from, they said, look, you will get an airplane from airport in Beirut, you will land in Frankfurt in Germany, and from there you will take another airplane to Ireland, to Dublin. So I said, all right, that's fine. But so they told me about the time and all this, like the flight was at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you will land there and you will have another airplane at 10 a.m. Like you will land at 9, your other airplane will be at 10. So I went there. When I landed, I checked my clock. It was 10 o'clock. I said, now what? Now the airplane is gone, so it's just, I don't have English. I can't talk to anybody, and I don't know even where the airplane. So I was searching and rushing in the airport and everything, and I find the gate. I went there. There was no one. I arrived exactly at 10, 5 past 10. So I said, look, the flight is gone. I tried to ask here and there, and then accidentally my wife, she looked up, she find the clock. It was 9 o'clock. It was the time difference,
Yeah.
which I never been used to it.
Yeah.
So I was like for 15 minutes, like, very nervous because like I'm in a place that I don't know anybody, I don't know the language, I can't, even find my way back. So yeah, I stayed at the gate, I find my flight, I went here, and when I came here, I was exhausted, like, so I went there, the member of the government who takes me from the airport into the camp, and he said, look, go sleep.
And where was the camp that you were brought
That
to?
was in Balsiska Reception Center,
Okay.
which is in Finglas.
Okay.
Yeah, very close to the airport.
And was that like a direct provision?
Yes,
Type place?
it was a direct provision center. So they take me there and they said, look, rest for the day and we'll meet you tomorrow to do all the papers. They helped me of doing the, because I for 1 year I've been checked in Lebanon. So I came here, most of the things that I have to do is done. All checks, all this, even the residency card, all this. Like the next day they take me, everything was ready. They told me, like, look, here's your papers. You're ready to go now. Stay there until they organize the house and all the place where I'm gonna stay, and they give me some little bit of course English course. We had few trips into the city in Dublin just to know the area. They introduced the shops, the things like that, just very basic.
And how did you
things.
feel on arrival in Ireland? Specifically, literally that moment you arrived here.
That's a really something that I will never forget, because when I reached the very when I put my foot on the ground of the airport in Dublin, I said, look, this is a new life. So this is the point where I have to start again. I have, like, all my past is gone. I will just erase it now and start again. So it was really amazing feeling when you feel safe, that you're safe, and now you have a new life that you can start from. Because in Lebanon and Syria, there is no future for us. Like I wasn't thinking even in the future what I can do. It's just about my day. How can I survive today and tomorrow? That's all. Now when I came here, look, it's just I'm safe. I have somebody who's supporting me. So that's it. I should start again. My life, go back to normal as a normal human. So yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
And those first few weeks, getting used to a new country. What was
Yeah,
it like?
it was really, like it's just something new always that you see everywhere. Like I was non-stop going into the city on my own with my wife and kid. Like, let's go and just discover the place we are living in.
And at this point, had you moved from the direct provision centre?
No, like I stayed there for 6 months.
Okay.
They keep me there for 6 months. Then I moved to another county, in Tipperary. I went to Tipperary in Thurles.
Okay.
Yeah, but the very very beginning, it was just trying to know the streets, the roads, all this. It's new for me. It's
Yeah.
different system, especially driving on the other way.
Yes.
It's
And,
confusing.
and
for
how
me.
did you find Ireland? Was it a big shock to you?
No, not really. Like it just because as I said, I read a lot about it, and the process itself it takes me 1 year. So I've kind of prepared of what I'm gonna see.
So you've done your research.
Yeah, I'm done in my research. Just I have an idea of where I'm going, and how the country looks like, things like that. But the very good thing that I find is the people here who, at the very beginning, when I came here, I said, like, we heard a lot about Europe and what's happening in Europe. Sometimes you hear the bad stories always that comes up in the head of anyone. That they don't really talk about good things, they talk about bad things. So they talk a lot about racism and things like that. So when I came here, I was kind of worried what could happen, but it was completely the opposite. It was a very friendly people who I met at the very beginning and until now. There's many friendly people who I met, same as you, for instance.
I think the Irish people
Yeah.
given our history, which you know a little bit about now,
Yeah.
we tend to empathise, I think, with people who've gone
Yeah.
through, difficult situations.
Yeah.
Again, you only have to look at our own recent history
Yeah.
to see that. And your parents came later to Ireland, is that right?
Yes. So after I moved to Thurles, so at that time I have the right to apply for family reunification for the first, they call it first level.
Yep.
Close relatives. So my parents, I can apply for them. So my parents at that time, like at the very beginning when I left Syria, my parents still, kind of surviving in Syria. I have the risk from the government. They don't have that at that time. So, but later on in 2014, when I moved to Ireland, they came to Lebanon. So they stay in the same house where I was staying. So they stayed in Lebanon for a while, and then it gets worse and worse in Lebanon. It was very bad afterwards for the Syrians, especially. They have many restrictions of movements and things like that. They can't work everywhere. They can't do this. They can't do that. So it was really terrible situation in Lebanon even for them. So I said, look, as I have the rights, I have to apply for them. At least I have them here. I can take care of them. They take care of me. I have somebody of my family also. So yeah, I applied for them. They came in 2016, in the end of it, in December. They came here. They stayed with me for a while until we found a house, same as the housing problem, So they stayed for around 7 months in my house. We stayed in 2 rooms, but it was okay. We used to that in Lebanon and Syria during the war, to live in tight places. So it was okay. They stayed there, and then we find a house, which is just the next door.
Right next door, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the next door
and we
one.
couldn't have asked for better neighbours.
Yeah.
I always tell the story of the time I broke my front gate. And came home one day and it was just repaired and your dad had just repaired it while I was out.
Like it just it's kind of I don't want to say that all the Syrians are like that, but most of the Syrians, like, they like to help each other. It's something normal for them. If you see your neighbor having some problem, just fix it. It's nothing. Just fix that. And same, he do the same. Like if he wasn't there, he saw a problem, he fixed it.
And your parents also feed me as well. They give us. They always bring us in beautiful Syrian food.
Yeah, that's kind of actually that's culture.
Yeah.
In our country, that's especially in Ramadan, or even if you're doing a big meal, So it's culture to send some to your neighbors, because they have saying that. There might be some woman's pregnant and she smells that and she might want it. So you just take it to her without asking.
And in any Arabic countries I've been in, Morocco and Tunisia, that there is this real tradition of welcoming strangers and neighbours and feeding people. And,
feeding people. Sometimes it comes to be annoying. Like, for me, for instance, when I was younger, I got to my grandfather's house or grandmother's house, and you sit on the lunchtime, like you want to eat. You eat, you're full, you're done. But then here's the start that no, you have to eat this. Just eat that for me. Just take this. Just take that. And like it's just sometimes annoying. I'm full already.
I think we found the first thing that the Irish and the Syrians have in common.
Yeah,
we do the exact same.
Actually, there's many things like in common. I found many things are in common. Especially the culture, the way they deal with family, the family system itself, how they still combined as together mostly. And there's many ideas are the same. Welcoming strangers also still the same. The way of thinking.
And I'll just go back to your parents for a second, because last year they were, I know, very pleased that they managed to go on the Hajj pilgrimage.
Yes.
And that's obviously a huge occasion for them in their life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like they actually, because that was one of the benefits of being in Ireland. So because the Saudi system, which is I considered as corrupted system. So if you were in Syria, you have to be over 65 years old, and you have to pay like a wealth to go to Hajj. So it was a dream for anyone from the Syrians who wants to go to Saudi Arabia to do, which is an obligation in our religion. And which is
once in your life at least.
Once in your life at least. So it's an obligation if you can, of course. But the situation in Syria, it was a dream for anyone to do it. So when they came here, it was much easier because you're coming from Europe for Saudi Arabia. It was much easier to go there. So yeah, they went there last year.
Yeah, I remember they came back. They were delighted, and your dad had his hair cut.
They just shaved.
Okay, so moving on from that, what has surprised you most about life in Ireland?
Surprised me, I can't really say I'm surprised. I said because most of the things I know before I come here, as I did some research, but when I came here, is the way the people they deal with me. Like when I didn't expect at all to have that friendly from people. When I went to Torles in Tipperary, I went to my house. They put me in the house. They said, "Look, this is your house." I closed the door. After 10 minutes, the bell rings, and all the neighbors come to me and say, "Look, hello," and new neighbor, and they knew that I'm Syrian. So anything I need, anything happens with me, I went directly to my neighbors, which is I didn't really expect in Europe to have that attitude or have that ability to ask your neighbor for anything. Like that was one of the things that surprised me with the Irish people, that they still, have that empathy or that kind of friendly, or what they call it. Welcoming. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Welcoming to strangers.
And just move on from that. What would you say are the main similarities and differences between the Irish and Syrians? You've touched on it already a little bit.
Yeah, similarities. As I said, there's a lot in the culture and the way they deal with each other, the way they deal with people. Even we have many similarities. I touched many of them. Differences, it's pretty rare. I can't remember any difference. Like it just maybe the names.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that I found is different, and the way of driving. Like other than that, I couldn't really find a big difference between Syrians, and because at the end, it's people. We're all the same, but we share the many points in the culture. So that's it.
And sometimes when you listen to the media or social media, you forget that even way more in common than separates us.
Yeah, exactly. But even like we talked about that before, the music.
Yeah,
we have many. Like if you listen for both the Syrian music and the Irish music, you can find many similar tones. Like it's kind of very similar together. If you put them together, you see they're very similar.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, like the tone, especially in my city, like we have our own in Aleppo. It has its own music. So if you go to that music, you'll find it very, very similar to the Irish music. They have the same tone, I think. So if you hear it, it's one of the common things.
And you spoke about your first child being born in Lebanon, is that right? And you've 3 kids now, of course.
Yes.
And were they born here, the other 2? They were, okay.
The 2, yeah. So when we came here, I had my first one, he was 6 months old only. And then we had the second one in 2015. And the third one was in 2016. So they both born in the Rotunda.
Okay,
Here in
where I
Dublin.
was born, yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. So,
And
yeah.
I've heard them out here with their Dublin accents, and
They are fully, completely Irish. They don't really like. To be honest, like they don't really know Syria.
okay.
They don't even, just know the name of it. They don't know anything about it. They don't really.
And do they
visit
speak
it.
Arabic?
Yes, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to teach them Arabic because at the end I have now my brother, for instance, he's in France. His daughter will speak French and Arabic. So the only common language will be between them is Arabic. So they have to have that, language with them, and also, to have a second language is a benefit anyway. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, exactly.
We know that. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.